Hi guys, so today I'm coming to you with a new series. It's an update to an older, and I've got a lot of requests for this, and it's the basically what to buy when on a budget for X-Wing. I'm going to break this down into three parts. This is the first part, so this is going to be for the Rebel faction, and each part is going to be its own faction. I'm going to put links in the description if you want to just jump straight to the Imperial version or the Scum and Villainy version. But basically, for any faction, my very first step is, if you're on a budget and you're starting out an X-Wing, is to pick a faction. And then each video is going to show how to get started with that faction. For no matter what you buy, the very first thing you're going to need is a core set. Now, there are two core sets. There's the original core set, and then there's the Force Awakens core set. So we're going to look at, first with the Rebels, what do those core sets give for you? And then we're going to go basically from there, what kind of builds you can do, what are the first couple of things you should buy, what's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, and what are the last things that you should buy. And I'm not going to go into specifically every single expansion card that comes into every single expansion, every single upgrade card that you get, because there's just, frankly, there's too many. And I don't want to, this would be like a 4-hour video to really talk about that. So I'm just going to go over what you should get right away to get you playing, and maybe even get you in a couple of tournaments with a respectable build. Here we go.
Okay, so the first thing you need when you're starting X-Wing on a budget is a core set. You need to pick one of these two. Eventually you'll want both, but over here we have the original core set. It comes with an X-Wing and 2 TIE fighters, and it's going to have Luke, it's going to have R2-D2, it's going to have Biggs, has some good stuff in here. Also has everything you need, your damage deck, your dice, your maneuver templates, all the stuff to play the game. The Force Awakens core set, this is the newer one, it has basically all the stuff you need to play the game just like this, but it has different versions of an X-Wing and 2 TIE fighters. It has the T-70 X-Wing, which means it's going to have Poe Dameron, it's going to have BB-8 from the new movies. Different stuff than this one has, but it's still all the same stuff to start the game, just in a Force Awakens theme. It also has a new damage deck. You're going to want the new damage deck from here going forward. If you can only choose between one or the other, get this one first. Eventually get both, because this has some really good pilots and stuff in it also. These are also a great value, because if you can find it on sale for like $30 or less, you're getting 3 ships for a much lower price. So gotta have a core set, mandatory. You need your maneuver templates and all that other stuff. So get this one first. Eventually get this one also, unless of course you specifically want to stick with the original trilogy. And then if that's what you like, first thing you really need to pick, what do you like? What ships do you like? Look at what's available, and maybe you love A-Wings, maybe you love B-Wings, maybe you love the Millennium Falcon or whatever. Go for what you like first. So if you really you want to fly Luke Skywalker specifically, then maybe you want to get this one first. But in general, all other things considered, this one you're going to need to have, because going forward they're going to be using this damage deck, the new damage deck that's better for the game. Beyond that, you want a 100-point list. So my first suggestion would be to get a Millennium Falcon expansion. It's a bigger box expansion, but is probably the most iconic ship in Star Wars. And it's a fantastic miniature. It looks great sitting on your table. I did paint the back engine glow of mine, and doesn't actually come with the engine glow, but so mine is, the back actually would look kind of like just cream colored like that. But so Millennium Falcon would be one of my first suggestions. I do have 4 different ships that I'll suggest as like one of your first expansion buys, and it depends how much how many expansions you're going to be able to get. If you get a Falcon and then you have the X-Wing from here, there's going to be enough upgrades that you should be able to outfit about 100 points worth of stuff. Definitely, I know you can from this one, because this one has proton torpedoes, but so you can definitely outfit 100 points. But if you just go with a Falcon and one other ship, it might not be the best list, but you can make that work. If you get one more expansion, you can definitely do it. The second option I would tell you is Rebel Aces. Rebel Aces is a box that has 2 ships in it, and these were meant to expand the B-Wing and A-Wing roles. These are somewhat newer expansions, but they have a lot of really great pilots and a lot of really great support cards and a lot of new stuff to make these ships even better. Now, I would say to get this before you get a standalone B-Wing expansion or a standalone A-Wing expansion, because the stuff that this brings to them are so much better. You may eventually want to get those, but as your first buy, this is going to be one of your best values because, because you're getting 2 ships in one expansion. It's going to be a little bit more than a regular small ship expansion, but you're still going to save money because you're getting 2 ships for one, and there's some great pilots in there, especially like Kian Farlander, who's a B-Wing pilot who's really, really amazing. All right, the next option I'll say is the Outrider. If you've read Shadows of the Empire, this is Dash Rendar's Outrider, or the YT-2400 expansion. It's very similar to the Falcon. It's a great ship, but it's not one of my first 2 choices because for it to really shine, it requires some upgrades that it doesn't come with. The idea of this ship is that it takes a cannon and turns it into a turret. And some of the best cannons require separate purchases. So maybe you want a Mangler cannon, which comes in some of the like the M3A Interceptor, which is Scum, or the IG-2000. Will have the Mangler cannon, or you want a heavy laser cannon, which comes in like the Slave 1, or I think the Lambda. Maybe something else. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it does come with cannons, just not necessarily. Not necessarily the best cannons for it. Then the next option is the E-Wing. Now the E-Wing is a small ship expansion, so this is the cheapest first expansion you can buy, because all the small ship expansions tend to be in the $10 to $15 range. They MSRP for usually $15, but a lot of times you can find them as cheap as like maybe $11 or so. Sometimes you can even find them under $10, especially if it's a daily deal or something like that on cool stuff. But the E-Wing is a great way to fill up a list. Corran Horn is a really, really good pilot. He can attack twice. And there's all kinds of upgrades that this ship can take that are going to make it easily consume over 50 points if you load it up with enough stuff. However, like the Outrider, some of the best upgrades for it aren't included in the E-Wing expansion itself. So that's why it's not one of my first choices, but it's still a real good option if you're going to get maybe like 3 expansions. This may definitely be one of the ones you want because it can be very powerful, especially with some of the pilots that come with it, but it's also a way to fill up a lot of points. Next, I'm going to have my second tier of things that you can get. If you're getting more than 1 expansion, maybe you're going to get 2 or 3 expansions. These might be some of the next buys that you get. First is the standalone B-Wing expansion. The B-Wing is a great ship. It's my favorite ship in all of Star Wars, and definitely my favorite ship in the game. And if you've got Rebel Aces first, then you want to look at the B-Wing and the A-Wing expansions in addition to that. For one, you'll have an extra ship. You're going to have a lot of pilots, because this is going to come with a couple of pilots. That's going to come with a couple of unique pilots. So there are going to be 2 unique pilots in the B-Wing expansion and 2 unique pilots in the A-Wing expansion. So you're going to have a lot of options. You'll have, like, maybe you're just going to get the base game, Rebel Aces, and an A-Wing. Well, now you have a ton. You have 4 different named A-Wing pilots plus 2 different generic pilots. So you have a lot of different ways to configure it. The A-Wing in particular is very good because it comes with Push the Limit, which is one of the best elite pilot talents in the game. And there's not too many places to get Push the Limit. So A-Wing is very good. B-Wing also very good, but it doesn't, off the top of my head, I don't think it has anything in any upgrade cards that you need to have, other than the fact that it's just a great ship. A great, great ship to fly. Lots of shields, it's tough to kill, and it's really strong. And then the standalone X-Wing expansion, just one of these, but what's great about this specifically is that it comes with Wedge, and Wedge is one of the best pilots in the game. And that's just a good addition to any list. So, that would be any one of these would be a good second purchase, and or maybe more than one of these, or second and third, quite possibly. And then we have our last tier. Our bottom tier, and these aren't, I'm not saying that these are bad, but I'm just talking about as far as cost, is the K-Wing. I'll start with the K-Wing. Now, K-Wing is one of the newer ships, and it's great, but the reason that this is down here is because you kind of have to get 2 of them. It comes with new bomb tokens, and upgrades to allow you to drop more than one at the same time, or to have more than one on the board at the same time. But you can't do that because it only comes with the cardboard for one of them. So that's one of the problems. And so it's almost like planning for you to buy a second one. So there's that. But it can, if you like this ship, though. Also, a lot of people think it's ugly, but I'm talking about price here. If you really like the K-Wing, though, by all means, just go for it. But I just wouldn't suggest it to a new player. Also, it's not. If you're a new player, you probably want something that's a little more iconic, and somebody might see this and not even realize that it's Star Wars. The Y-Wing. Now, the Y-Wing is a great ship, but some of the things that make it shine the best right now come in other expansions. For example, the K-Wing comes with a twin laser turret, which is a very, very powerful and popular weapon right now. One of the best places to put a twin laser turret is on a Y-Wing. But the Y-Wing, it comes with an ion turret, and it's pretty good by itself. But to really make it shine, you'll need either a twin laser turret or maybe a BTL upgrade for it, which comes in the Most Wanted starter pack for the Scum and Villainy faction. And those are some of the best things to put on a Y-Wing. So if you're going to fly Y-Wings, you're going to almost really need to get other stuff to go on them. And some of that also holds true for the HWK. The HWK is actually a decent standalone ship. It's a support ship, and it has a lot of stuff in its expansion. So it really isn't bottom tier. But one of the reasons I put it down here is that it's not a good. If you can only buy like 2 expansions or 2 or 3 expansions, I wouldn't suggest this one. If you're going to get maybe 4 expansions, then I would suggest this one. It's a little bit weaker. It gets a lot stronger if you can put a twin laser turret, which comes with the K-Wing on it. Gets a lot stronger if you can do that. But if you don't have that, it's just a little bit weaker. It still has a role to play for sure. But if you're not getting K-Wings and you're not going to have twin laser turrets, right now I would probably hold off on the HWK. And last is the Z95. This is actually a great ship. It only fills up 12 points on the cheapest model. It's basically a swarm ship for the Rebels. So, and this is a cost video, so while I do love the Z95, it's a swarm ship. So you would need, maybe 7 or 8 of them to fill up a list. And you're trying to save money, right? So first, pick one of these. Next, maybe get one of these. Then after that, maybe get one of these. And then after that, maybe get one of these. That's just my suggestion. But the ultimate suggestion is pick what you like. Go with that first.
All right, so that's my Rebel starter, what to buy first on a budget. If you like this video, thumbs up, like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And check out my other videos of what to buy first doing Imperial and what to buy first when doing Scum and Villainy, which will probably be the most expensive faction to get started with. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.